In the headlines, military rescues 7 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. Presidency replies Governor Akeredolu says no state has approval for automatic weapons. Central Bank of Nigeria raises interest rate to 15.5%. Away from Nigeria, security forces clash with protesters. Over 75 killed as anti-hijab protests intensify in Iran. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. Beginning with security matters, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have rescued 7 people who were kidnapped by bandits in Birnin Gwari and Chikun local government areas of Kaduna State. According to the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, the troops came under fire from bandits while on patrol along the Birnin Gwari, Gayam, Kuriga, Manini axis. Aruwan said that the troops returned fire and promptly subdued the bandits who fled into the forest, leaving behind the captives in their custody. The commissioner gave the names of the rescued victims as Joseph Ishaku, John Bulus, Gloria Shedrack, and her 4 children. Now, one of the many efforts to put in place to ensure security of lives and property within the FCT and neighboring states is the setting up of Operation Safe G7, a task force comprising security operatives and the local vigilantes from the 6 states and the FCT. Noel Samson was at a camp where the operation was launched and now reports.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Operation Safe G7 had commenced operations before the official launch by the FCT police. The commissioner, while launching the task force, said it was important for the catchment area, hence the need for its existence. He also urged the FCT residents not to worry when the drills start, as modalities have been put in place to ensure that there is no collateral damage.
The Minister of FCT and the 6 other state governors contagious to the FCT decided to form this G7 in order to stem the tide of all this kidnapping and banditry. So we are also in ember months, which are still characterized by slight increase in crime and criminality. So we have been proactive in order to get rid of these criminals. That is why we are launching this Operation G7. My message to the community: they should cooperate with the officers and men. They should give us actionable and timely intelligence, and when the operation lasts, they should not panic. We are in charge.
The residents were also advised not to spread fake news, but also verify information before giving it out.
Of course, in the era of social media now, where you see people post what is not things that have happened in the past, and they take them for current happenings, people must disabuse themselves from some of these things. There are clear evident places where you can speak. In the area of the security, this police you tell you what to do as far as the internal security is concerned. And so if there is anything, seek clarification from there. Not that you just post anything. And so I want people to allay their fears that with what is happening now, nobody should take undue advantage to post what is wrong to the social media.
Meanwhile, the task force has arrested a terror suspect and rescued a victim at Leda Yebu ward of Kwali Area Council of Abuja. Operation Safe G7 is hoping that the citizens will cooperate with it to enable success in the task of securing the states around the FCT as well as the FCT itself.
The presidency has refuted claims that some states have been authorized to buy automatic weapons for their security outfits. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State had alleged that if the federal government could allow a security outfit in Katsina State to carry arms, nothing should stop him from doing the same for officers of the Western Nigeria Security Network, codenamed Amotekun. However, presidential media aide Garba Shehu on Tuesday said there is no state that has been authorized to procure automatic weapons for their security outfit. He said that the president has repeatedly made it clear that nobody is allowed to legally carry AK-47 or any other automatic weapons. The statement further said that contrary to the directive, the law enforcement agencies have been given clear directives to deal with any such outlaws, adding that under the existing regulations, only the Office of the National Security Advisor can issue such authorization upon proper clearance by the president. Now, tougher times await drug barons and cartels operating in Nigeria if they fail to back out of their criminal trade and embrace legitimate ventures. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, gave the warning on Tuesday while leading stakeholders to witness the crushing and setting ablaze of 1.8 tons of cocaine recovered by the agency from a warehouse in the Ikorodu area of Lagos last week.
According to the Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, the NDLEA had, in a well-coordinated and intelligence-led operation that lasted 2 days last week, stormed a hidden warehouse at number 6 Olukunola Street, Sholebo Estate, Ikorodu, where 1.8 tons of cocaine were recovered and 5 suspects, including a Jamaican, were arrested. Following the historic seizure, which is the largest in the agency's history, an order of the Federal High Court in Lagos was obtained for the public destruction of the consignment. Speaking at the venue of the public destruction in Badagry area of Lagos on Tuesday, General Marwa was represented by the agency's Director of Prosecution and Legal Services and Deputy Commander General of Narcotics, Sunday Joseph, said the sheer volume of the drug haul, with street value put at 194.7 billion naira, speaks volumes about the extent of the nefarious activities of the drug underworld. He said this had made it imperative for Nigerians to continue to support the NDLEA in the renewed war against illicit drugs. He said out of the 1.8-ton seizure, 1,828 blocks of cocaine will be crushed and set ablaze, while the remnant will be secured for the purpose of prosecution of the suspects who were brought to witness the procedure and sign the certificate of destruction. Marwa said the fact that the Ikorodu operation was conducted clinically without any skirmish or bloodshed is further testimony to the evolution of the NDLEA and its new capabilities, and a pointer to the fact that the game has changed in the war against illicit drugs. He expressed appreciation to the agency's international partners, especially the American Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, that supported the cocaine syndicate bust, and the Nigerian military that provided additional firepower during the operation, as well as other law enforcement agencies that have been supporting efforts to rid Nigeria of illicit drugs.
And on political matters, intrigue in the 2 major political parties' presidential campaign council is attracting attention of political pundits ahead of Wednesday's commencement of campaigns. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that commentators believe that resolving political differences is necessary to accommodate conflicting interests. The report.
While the People's Democratic Party (PDP) resolves to move on with the campaign kick-up with slight modification on the list to fill the vacuum created by the pullout of the camp of the embattled River State Governor Nyesom Wike from the council, the All Progressives Congress has postponed inauguration of its presidential campaign council.
No house that is ultimately 100% united. And like I said, politics is about conflict and conflict management. You cannot have 12 people without a Judas. There is no Garden of Eden without a serpent. So you definitely will have those who are going to disagree. We saw that also happening in APC.
It still remains a huge setback for Atiku, but it is also interesting that the Wike group is no longer the same since that pronouncement. Just yesterday, one of the major pillars in the group, Benue State Governor Otom, recanted, so to say, and he said he's now biking Ayu.
The bone of contention in both political parties is the need to maintain relevance and protect personal and group interests in the run-up to the 2023 elections.
There is also the almighty governors. Since 2003, Nigerian governors, both for good and for ill, have managed to become the strongest bloc within the political space. In most cases, for selfish reasons, you cannot do anything without the governors. They usually bring their mighty weight to bear on all issues of governance. And the feelers that we are getting is that the governors do not feel included.
There are bound to be people who will not agree with it. But politics is about game of majority. Minority will have their say, majority will have their way. So you cannot wait until when everybody will be on the same page with it. Even as we go along, there will be those who will say, oh, you didn't come to my hometown to campaign, so you have not done us well. Or, issue of money can also bring about dissension.
While the pundits agree that it is normal in party politics to have dissenting voices, such, they say, must be properly handled to avoid a spiral effect on the overall success of the campaigns. Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Social Democratic Party says it is the most credible and best prepared party to rescue Nigerian nation from its present socio-economic woes, which has adversely affected all the strata of national life. Leaders of the party converged on the ancient city of Ibadan on Tuesday for a Southwest Summit for critical stakeholders. Presidential candidate of the SDP, Adewale Adebayo, urged Nigerians to queue up behind candidates that can positively impact on their lives and turn around the fortunes of the citizenry around for good.
Nation in which our people should be trading in ideas, trading in competing technologies and methodologies for the future. You use your poor decision and injustice to force them to be interrogating religion. So there is no church you go to today that they don't ask God, God, have you abandoned us? Are we so incompetent that we cannot be part of leadership in this country? But that issue will not have arisen, if not because of that injustice done. And if you say, well, it doesn't matter, every accumulation of injustice normalizes injustice. And a society that normalizes injustice will never know peace. That is why in Nigeria, the greatest prayer, the most common prayer is peace. We want peace in the land. But peace doesn't come by prayer. Peace comes by doing justice. And you can't do justice without starting with saying the truth. The truth about the future of Nigeria today lies in SDP.
The House of Representatives has asked the Minister of Works and Housing to urgently direct the contractor rehabilitating the Abuja-Kaduna Highway to return to site after the company withdrew its workers over fear of insecurity. Coming under matter of urgent public importance, a lawmaker representing Sabon Gari Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, Datti Muhammad, recounted the hardship commuters go through on a daily basis as the route has become impassable. The lawmaker noted that the situation has further compounded the insecurity on the road as it has exposed commuters to the probability of terrorist attacks.
Recently often left motorists and commuters stranded on the road, sometimes for between 6 to 9 hours on a journey that should last not more than 1.5 hours. Anxious that there is a high probability that this gridlock will become a very recurrent occurrence in the immediate future. The Abuja-Kaduna Highway is the key outlet for transportation of persons, commodity, goods across Nigeria, and this is evident in the extraordinary traffic on it. Worried that the situation on the Abuja-Kaduna Highway has become a debilitating drawback for the Nigerian economy that, if not immediately rectified, spells doom for the economy and social life of Nigerians, contrary to Section 15, subsection 1 of the Constitution, which mandates the Nigerian state to provide adequate facilities for and encourage free mobility of people, goods, and services throughout.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how tricycles are displacing taxis in Kano. Details of this and more after the break. Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a look at the top stories again. Military rescues 7 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. Presidency replies Governor Akeredolu says no state has approval for automatic weapons. Elsewhere, the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji has held a remembrance anniversary for the 165 victims who died in the ill-fated NAF 911 crash in 1992. The staff and students of the college were on that fateful day returning to Jaji from a tour of naval formations in Lagos State. The remembrance event had in attendance top military officers and families of the victims. Bello Musa has more.
Of these videos show how grieved their hearts are as they remember their loved ones who died in NAF 911 aircraft that crashed 3 minutes after takeoff from Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, killing 165 passengers on board on the 26th September 1992. The commandant of the college says the unfortunate accident brought an end to the lives of promising officers.
The unfortunate incident brought to an abrupt end the lives of some promising officers with very bright futures in the armed forces of Nigeria and some allied nations. The armed forces of Nigeria indeed lost a generation of middle-level officers. It was in service to the nation that these noble officers and men that we remember today left the comfort of their homes and the units after being posted to serve in the college, as well as being nominated to attend the senior course 15.
Threats were led at the cenotaph in memory of victims of the 1992 crash.
It's 30 years ago, and we are still remembering them, and we will continue to remember them as long as we live and as long as the armed forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria remains.
Today we are not crying. We are giving thanks to Almighty God for keeping us this strong for 30 years.
Prayers were also offered for the peaceful repose of the deceased souls.
And so, Lord, we lift up our heart unto you, praying for the family of departed souls. You will grant them succor.
Protect and take care of their family. May their gentle soul rest in perfect peace.
Among the 165 passengers on the ill-fated NAF 911 aircraft were 8 officers from the armed forces of other African countries of Ghana, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and Uganda. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Now, as tricycles continue to take over local transportation in Kano State, the popular taxi drivers are gradually moving out of the roads. In this report, our correspondent Idris Jibrin examines how the few remaining taxis are coping with passenger resistance within the metropolis.
Muhammad Aminu is a taxi driver in Kano who is now forced to clean it because there is no passenger for him to carry. He says the tricycle operation has completely taken over his business along all the major routes known to be used by taxis. You see, tricycle has taken over all the major roads we follow. And these roads include BUK Road, Zoo Road, Zaria Road, Maiduguri Road to bypass, and Rijiyar Lemo are the major roads we follow. Few years back, taxis are known to be the popular and most reliable means of transportation within the metropolitan city of Kano. But with the advent of tricycle, popularly known as Adaidaita Sahu in Kano, this means of transportation is rarely seen on major roads of the states. We are indeed the backward. Now you see, this taxi is mine, but there are no passengers. Even this cleaning you see me doing is because I have no choice. I could not go out because even if I did, there are no passengers. According to tricycle riders, because of the affordability and reliability of their business, they have left taxis with options to convert to tricycle or move out of business, even though there are risks associated with the tricycle operation. Tricycle took over taxi because the passengers prefer to use it. It is the only means of transportation since the ban of motorcycle that can take you to any part of Kano State, no matter how narrow the area may be. Although taxis still exist in some parts of Kano metropolis, but where it's known to be their major bus stop, are taken over by tricycle, the number of which keeps increasing virtually on daily basis. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has raised the benchmark interest rate by 150 basis points. The committee held its 287th meeting on Tuesday at the Apex Bank's headquarters in Abuja. The decision is in response to the latest inflation figures by the National Bureau of Statistics, which showed that the CPI had hiked from 19.64% to 20.52%. Chamo Dabeng has more.
Many experts had speculated yet another hike in the MPR since the NBS released its latest figures. Well, those speculations proved to be right as the committee unanimously made the decision to respond to aggressive inflationary pressures with equal measures of aggression by raising the benchmark interest rates by 150 basis points.
In summary, the MPC voted to 1. Raise the MPR to 15.5%, retain the asymmetric corridor at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR, increase the cash reserve requirement ratio, CRR, to a minimum of 32.5%, and 4, retain the liquidity ratio at 30%.
Emefiele also disclosed that the CBN will implement aggressive cash reserve requirement CRR measures by mopping up liquidity from commercial banks by Thursday. He therefore sounded a note of warning to banks that they should fund their accounts immediately.
We have increased the CRR, and we expect that this decision at this meeting must be seen to be potent and must achieve the effect that the MPC thinks it should achieve. What is the message? We expect that all the banks in Nigeria must fund their account by Thursday, 48 hours, because we will debit them for CRR. We will take their CRR to a minimum of 32.5%. So which means we are going to take liquidity out of their vaults by Thursday. If any bank fails to meet up with this expectation, the decision of the MPC is that we may need to, let me use may, we may need to preclude those banks from foreign exchange market on Friday and onwards until they meet this 32.5.
The latest move by the CBN is the third consecutive increase in the NPR, moving it from 13%.
And away from Nigeria, as protests entered their 12th day over the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, Iranian riot police and security forces clashed with demonstrators in dozens of cities on Tuesday. In a strong show of resistance and rage, the massive anti-hijab protest in Iran has been one of the strongest protests against the ruling government in recent times, and women have stood at the forefront. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. Watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba. Thank you for watching. Bye.